Hey, Tyler Day here. Hope everybody's doing well. Wanted to come to you today with another live stream, another episode of Traffic Talk, where we talk about affiliate marketing and I give you insights as far as what's going on in my business and what I'm doing to make the most money in affiliate marketing. So, yeah, let's get into it. Um, First off, I want to talk about what I've been up to lately. So, in the past month or so, I started running some traffic on YouTube. And, the reason why I got back in the trenches is because I really wanted to master the YouTube ad platform. So, um, sort of how our business started off. So, in the early days, it was just me and my brother Peter running all the ads, primarily on Facebook, and we really mastered the Facebook ad platform. And after we personally mastered it, we were able to then go teach a bunch of people how to run Facebook ads and build out a team of media buyers. And now our company is about 15 people. Only about half of those people are really on the media buying side. We have other people doing biz dev or accounting or creatives or just various other roles in the company. But after we mastered Facebook, we were able to teach a whole bunch of other people on how to run Facebook ads. And, you know, I started to hire in 2022 for people to run ads on YouTube. But the problem that I was having was just like I didn't have a whole lot of experience personally running YouTube ads. So, I went through a course and learned a little bit about how to do it, but I didn't really have any real experience like running YouTube ads before I went and was looking to hire. And we had some okay campaigns running on YouTube, but ultimately the people that I hired, like we just had them mostly ended up running Facebook ads. So I felt like I kind of had to personally master YouTube ads before I could go build out a team of people to run YouTube ads for me. So my next goal is to build out a division of our company of media buyers that are running affiliate campaigns on YouTube. So in order to do that, I really need to master it myself because I can't just trust that the person that I'm hiring really knows what they're doing. Like I need to be able to train and verify and really make sure that I'm in the know at the highest level possible on what to do. So a month ago, I jumped back in the trenches and I started running some YouTube campaigns. So I had I had some training. I had somebody coach me a bit on YouTube for a couple hours, and that was definitely helpful. So um, the past month has been really great. So right now on YouTube, I'm doing about 20 grand a day in revenue. I don't want to disclose like the exact vertical campaign that I'm running. I'm not quite ready to disclose that yet, but I'll share that with you when I'm ready. But what I want to do is I want to basically go over some tips as far as how to really perform well as a solo affiliate, because getting back in the trenches like this, running ads myself, for the past handful of years, I've been used to basically just managing a team of media buyers, and I haven't really been doing much media buying myself. I mean, I'm an expert at running Facebook ads. I was mainly focused on training other people on running Facebook ads. But getting back into the trenches myself was a good experience because I sort of got to go through everything from like a media buyer's perspective again and see sort of like what the real obstacles are to like really performing as a solo affiliate. So even though I'm not a solo affiliate, I mean, I have a team of media buyers. I've been sort of like acting like one lately because I've been running some of my own campaigns on the side. We've been doing about 20K per day in revenue, which has been between like 6 to 8K per day in profit. So the profit margins have been pretty good. And I've managed to get my time that I've been spending on this only down to like maybe a couple hours per day. So this is just something that I'm kind of doing on the side to bring in some more revenue for our company. And I wanted to share with you basically how to really crush it. Like if you're just a solo affiliate, if you're at a place right now where you're running campaigns yourself and you're doing everything yourself, as far as like the copywriting, the ad creation, making the landing pages, doing all the media buying, doing all the data analytics, it can be a lot, right? So um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down sort of a next level for you. So if you've been a solo affiliate and you're just doing everything yourself and you're kind of like maxed out with your capacity as far as how much time in the day you have, and you're just wondering like how do you scale it from here, because one person can only really handle so much, and maybe you don't want to go build a team of 15 people, or have a bunch of media buyers that are independently running a bunch of campaigns under you. I mean, obviously that's ideal. Of course, you're going to make more money if you do that and have a bigger company. But what if you just want to take baby steps? What's the baby step from just being a solo affiliate, doing everything yourself, to maybe getting your workload down to only like a couple hours per day for the same amount of volume that you're currently running, so that you can free up more time to run more campaigns and take things to the next level. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So the first thing to do, if you're a good media buyer and you don't want to build a huge team of other media buyers running their own campaigns under you, there's other ways to leverage your skills without having to build a huge team. So the very first step would be to hire a junior media buyer under you. So you would still be the main media buyer. Like let's say that you're a solo affiliate, you're running all the campaigns, you'd still be the main media buyer, but a junior media buyer can assist with a lot of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis that can help you scale a lot more than if it was only just you running all the campaigns. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, because what I've done in the past month is I've hired a junior media buyer under me to help me manage these campaigns. So this is a different role than like what I would call a senior media buyer on the team. So we have like 7 full-time senior media buyers on the team who are like fully self-sufficient. They come up with all their own creatives, they manage all their own campaigns, and really I'll just talk back and forth with them about like strategy, or if there's issues that come up, or review their revenue figures and stuff like that. But a junior media buyer is a different role. So that's somebody who, if you're running campaigns yourself, this is somebody that could basically assist you in what you're doing. So first and foremost, before you hire a junior media buyer, you need to make sure that whoever you hire is very, very attentive to small details, very detail-oriented, reliable, and hardworking too. So let's talk about the type of things that a junior media buyer can help you with that can take a ton of work off your plate. So first and foremost, the ad and lander creation. So oftentimes this can end up being the most time-consuming part of running affiliate campaigns, especially if you're running ads on YouTube. Everything's all video-oriented over there, so there's a lot of work that goes into producing video ads. And maybe it's a little different over on Facebook. I mean, we run mostly video ads on Facebook, but maybe a lot of people are just running image ads, and maybe that's less time consuming. But for me, I found that the actual video editing and creating the video ads and creating landers, specifically the video ads, is the most time consuming part of running campaigns. So what I did is I trained the junior media buyer on how to create video ads. And at first this this person that I hired basically just started out as a creative person in our company. So his only job at first was basically our media buyers would send him scripts for video ads, and he would go create the video ads and produce them, and then send them back to our senior media buyers, who would then launch and run the ads. So he started out in that role for a couple of months, like 2-3 months or something like that, and then he got promoted to be a junior media buyer under me, assisting personally with the campaigns that I'm running right now on YouTube. So the first step was to basically train him in this process of creating the video ads, and that was a process. I mean, it took about a month of training for him to get really good at making video ads, as far as like finding these attention grabbing clips and putting together all the clip sequences and having it convert well with like the type of clips that you're using, and we're overlaying captions that correspond with the script over all of our videos. So it's not that hard, but it took about like 3 or 4 weeks for me to actually train him on doing that. And he was a very, very quick learner. So most of the work was on his end, figuring that out. But that's probably the most time consuming role that the junior media buyer can do. And what we do is, so we basically send him the ad copy for the script that we want to use in the ad. And then I'll basically like type out all the ad copy that I'd want to see on the landing page and give direction as far as like the layout or the format, and say, hey, I'd like it to look similar to this landing page, but with this copy and this format. And then basically having the junior media buyer put it all together and set it all up to run. So sometimes just the process of like producing these video ads, producing the landers, setting up all the campaigns to run in the ad account with the correct settings, that kind of stuff can just take like all day if you're running a bunch of campaigns. So even just hiring somebody to do that alone as a junior media buyer will free up a ton of your time. So, the next thing that the junior media buyer is responsible for is monitoring the campaigns throughout the day. So if you're a solo affiliate and you're running a bunch of campaigns, the last thing that you want is to never be able to leave your computer. I was having I don't know exactly how to explain this, but like when I first started running campaigns again myself, I all of a sudden realized like how many little things that you need to kind of watch throughout the day, especially if you're doing pay-per-call. There's often like lots of different buyers involved with pay-per-call. So when we run pay-per-call, we're not just running to one buyer, one call center. We'll have dozens of buyers, dozens of call centers with different caps that you need to carefully watch. So, if we have a new buyer and they're telling us, hey, we only want 30 billable calls a day or something like that, which is a pretty small cap, like you need to carefully watch your ads so that if something hits a hard cap, meaning, it hits the 30 billable call cap, you might lose money if that's a hard cap and no more calls are being paid for after that cap. So there's often a lot of things that you need to basically have the junior media buyer watch out for. And they need to be on alert. So like campaign that I'm running right now, we have more than a dozen buyers running for this campaign at once. And every single day there's cap changes. Oh, this buyer is having issues with their call center. This buyer wants more volume today. This buyer wants you to, do this, do that. So basically the junior media buyer is responsible for basically being on alert during the business hours for any updates from buyers, clients, whatever. And we don't actually have the junior media buyer like in direct communication with all the clients. We have a couple other people on the team that are more on the client side. So when they get alerted from a client, they know to reach out to the junior media buyer that's working on these campaigns for me. And, he can take action on that right away, because that's basically his responsibility. So yeah, that's super important. So if you don't have that, like if you're just like away from your computer and a buyer says, oh, something's wrong with our call center, like we got to shut this off immediately, blah blah blah, like if you're not right there to watch and monitor that, like you could lose a lot of money if all of a sudden nobody's picking up your calls or whatever. So um, another responsibility for the junior media buyer, that this can be pretty time consuming too. So when you're running ads on Google, um, you need a root domain site. So like if you're running on you know whatever your domain is, www. You need to have an actual site on the root domain. You can't just only have a lander. You need to actually have like a content site on the root domain. So one of the responsibilities of the junior media buyer is to basically build out these root domain sites, and then if we're running things on multiple accounts, you might need to build multiple root domain sites and then warm them up on different ad accounts at like a $200 a day budget or something like that. Um, and there's just like a whole slew of other responsibilities. So like oftentimes when we're running, like we don't like to just run in one ad account, right? So let's say that we need to run in a backup ad account. That means that the junior media buyer needs to make a slightly adjusted creative variation, because we can't just run the same exact creative one-to-one in multiple accounts, or you could get flagged for circumventing. They don't like you to do that. So we basically would need the junior media buyer to create variations of the winning ad and lander, and then launch that in a backup account on a different root domain and warm it up and monitor how that's going. So there's so many different things that you don't realize it as a solo affiliate, but little things like this can just take up so much of your time, and very very quickly your capacity could get maxed out if you're just running as a solo affiliate, and you're trying to manage all these different aspects of running a campaign. That's why sometimes solo affiliates, like they'll just run like one campaign at a time, and I see it all the time, and that's a really bad place to be in business, because if you're running something and you're running one vertical across like 12 different buyers and stuff, that's a different story, because there's a little bit more like diversification in there. Like if one buyer says to pause, that doesn't mean everything's going down, but you want to be running like multiple verticals. And sometimes if you're in a solo affiliate, like you just can't manage it. Like you can't manage running 5 different verticals across, 10 different ad accounts and stuff. Like there's just not enough time in the day, and the ball is going to get dropped somewhere. So hiring a junior media buyer is sort of like a crucial next step for anyone that is a solo affiliate looking to take things sort of to another level. So let's talk about the training process. So like I was talking about before, the first step was to train them on how to make video ads. Then the next step is how to create landers. So this can be sort of like a month-long process of just training, of teaching them how to format the ads, what type of clips to look for, what type of landers that do well. And the biggest thing to realize is that they don't need to know everything coming on board. And it's really unlikely that you're going to hire a junior media buyer at, a reasonable salary that's just going to be a master of all these skills coming into the position. And, what's more important is that they're a quick learner, and that they process information quickly, and that they work hard, and they just get a lot of things done and take a lot of action. So after they're solid on just like creating ads and creating landers, the next step would be to actually like teach them about doing like things like uploading campaigns to the ad account with all of the correct campaign settings. So, this is going to be different for each ad platform that you're running. Some ad platforms are more simple than others. But for something like Google, you want to make sure that they have, the right targeting, the right exclusion, the right ad schedule, the right placements, and you got to teach them this, and you got to basically carefully double check every single campaign that they upload at first to make sure that everything's correct. Because there's so many little details that surely something is going to get missed. You got to expect it. So um, review every single campaign that they upload and make sure that there's no errors. And there's going to be errors. So when you do see errors, just make sure to point those errors out and say, hey, this is where the error was, and let's do it the right way moving forward. So you're gonna have to expect that there's gonna be mistakes at first, especially if they've never done something like technical on that level. But what the most important quality is of a junior media buyer is just being a quick learner. So um, after they're good with like making ads, making landers, uploading campaigns, the next step would be to teach them how to analyze data and teach them how to determine whether or not a campaign is profitable. Or if you're running pay per call, teach them how to analyze data like what's the revenue per call for each one of these different buyers. Is this going to work at that what's called an RPC, revenue per call? And you also want to have them watch out for things like if you're running a buyer and they drop like 10 calls in a row, they would need to know that they need to pause or lower budgets for the day if there's any issues that come up with that can come up with things like with pay per call, like lots of drop buyers on a or lots of drop calls on a buyer. And also, you need to teach them how to listen. If you're doing pay per call, you need to teach them how to listen to the call recordings. Because oftentimes when we're, the way that our company operates, like it's a very efficient machine. Like we have this whole team of people on the biz dev and client side, and they're just constantly streaming in new buyers for whatever campaign that we're running so that we can scale. And oftentimes when there's new buyers that come in, there's issues that come up. So issues that can come up that can cause a poor RPC, a revenue per call, are things like having an IVR. So an IVR is something like you call a number, it says press 2 to speak, or press 1 to speak to an agent or whatever. And oftentimes that can like kill the results if there's something like that. So that can be an issue. Other issues that come up are really long hold times. So like somebody calls in and they're just sitting on hold for like a long time. Another issue that can come up is like if your buyer is like a transfer house, like they're just buying you a call but then transferring it to another call center that's going to take the call. Sometimes there can be issues with like failed call transfers that can prevent like a billable conversion from happening, or other problems. So basically, your junior media buyer needs to be able to analyze the call recordings for new buyers and come up with feedback. So if a buyer is having an issue, maybe the issue could be easily fixed. Like maybe they can just remove the IVR, or if there's long hold times, maybe they have a handful of different buyers on the back end and they can pause certain buyers, or if there's a certain question that an agent's asking, like right off the bat, that's just kind of like turning people off. Maybe they could change their script to be higher converting. So when we have new buyers come in and we test out those buyers, and right away we can just tell that the RPC is bad on those buyers, we usually like to provide like detailed feedback so that the buyer has a chance to like improve and come back stronger. So the junior media buyer, another one of their responsibilities is to like analyze these calls and the call data. And so a big tip too. So I think that's all we're going to talk about as far as training a junior media buyer. So if you have any questions for that, put those in the chat, and we can talk more about that. So another tip, just if you're a solo affiliate, the most important thing to do is just to keep organized. So if you're trying to manage a bunch of campaigns and dozens of different buyers for each campaign that you're running, you need to be very, very detailed with where you're organizing all this information. So you need to have basically like shared documents between you and your junior media buyer about all the different campaigns that are running, all the different buyers across the campaigns, caps, what the campaign daily budget should be set at, what the targeting should be on that, what the ad schedule is, because different buyers could have different call center hours or just other important details that you need to note. So it's super important to stay organized and to keep everything in one place. So when a media buyer, you know, gets a request to adjust the cap, or you know, the buyer needs more calls, less calls, like that, that should all be updated in like a Google sheet or some kind of document, so that you know, you can just stay organized. So yeah. Eventually, like it's not going to take long before your junior media buyer basically is at his max capacity. So as a senior media buyer, your job is to basically do things like write copy. So on a day-to-day basis, like what I'm doing is I'm, you know, writing scripts for ads. I'm, you know, researching new verticals to run. I'm you know, um, writing copy for a handful of different verticals, and I'm just passing the scripts and the copy and the landing page script copy and ideas to the junior media buyer. But once the junior media buyer starts to get sort of maxed out with their capacity, the next step is to hire a virtual assistant that your junior media buyer would train under them. So um, this basically would take things to a whole nother level. So if your junior media buyer is spending way too much time on just like, you know, little things like monitoring caps, or you know, basically like time consuming things like uploading campaigns, or like simple repetitive tasks that take a lot of time, you could have a junior media buyer train a virtual assistant under them to do things for them. So for example, something that takes a lot of time for pay per call is just making dupe landers and campaigns for additional buyers. So if you're running a campaign to one buyer, and then all of a sudden you get, you know, 10 more buyers in for that campaign, you got to run all those things in different campaigns, because they might have different, you know, call center hours, and you're going to need different landing pages, because, you know, you're going to need the landing page URL to have like a different DID, which is a phone number that would go to that specific buyer. So um, having a virtual assistant under your junior media buyer to do things like make dupe campaigns and upload new buyers to the ad account, and monitoring for caps and monitoring for drop calls, or even listening to call recordings and coming up with reports as far as what's good and what's not, or even things like finding clips to put in video ads, or images to put on a lander. The next step, once your junior media buyer gets at capacity, is to basically have them train a virtual assistant under them. So that's where I'm at right now with my junior media buyer that I've been working with on these campaigns for the past month. So, you know, we started really like grinding it to the max. Like we're running dozens of different buyers. Like we scaled up to about 20 grand a day in revenue, like 6, 7, 8K a day in profit. And now I'm having the junior media buyer train a virtual assistant who we were already working with this virtual assistant, so I didn't have to like go find one, but it's easy to find virtual assistants like on Upwork. You know, you just got to make sure that the virtual assistant that you're hiring is very like detail oriented, hardworking, you know, there during the U.S. business hours, stuff like that too. So the virtual assistant that is, you know, now under my junior media buyer is from Bangladesh, and he's doing things like, to start, he's just doing things like uploading new buyers into the ad account. So like duplicating landers, swapping out the phone number for the different client, uploading the campaign with the right ad schedule, the right targeting, stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, this is like a pretty basic structure, and I mean, you could do a lot with this. So you know, I'm having no problem doing about like 20K a day with one junior media buyer under me. I might have to hire another junior media buyer soon. So, my goal is to take my revenue over like 100K a day, which is my own media buying. So I'll probably need like two junior media buyers under me to make that happen. So I'm going to be hiring another junior media buyer pretty soon. If you're interested for that kind of role, feel free to reach out. But probably not quite yet ready to hire for that yet. But within the next month or so, maybe. So yeah, so that's sort of a different model. So it might be intimidating for you if you're a solo affiliate and you're like really wondering like how do I take things to the next level. You've had people like me telling you that you need to go build like a big team, but really that's not the case. And even just starting with one really high level hire to work under you as a junior media buyer, assisting you in running your campaigns. Um, Sometimes that's all it needs. And as a senior media buyer, you can leverage your highest level skills, which um, to me, I think the highest level skill is copywriting. So the copy that you're using in your ad, in your script, in your landing page, it basically makes or breaks the campaign, right? So as a senior media buyer, your job should be focused on writing the best copy that you possibly can for all the campaigns that you're testing, and basically have like a mini team under you to handle everything else as far as like the day-to-day operations of managing campaigns and launching ads and stuff like that. Yeah, so just some other tips just for like productivity in general. So I think like if we're going to be talking about like how to become a like a super affiliate and run these big numbers and have high performance and high productivity, there's just like some basics that you need to cover just in general. So the first thing is you got to get, these are just more like general tips, but you got to get a good breakfast in. So like if you're just starting your whole day and you're just like running on fumes and you're not eating until like lunch or the afternoon or something like that, you're not going to be as productive as you would if you just got like a really good amount of like protein in for breakfast. So like just get a good breakfast in. Skip the sugar, skip the carbs for breakfast, and of course the next thing is try to schedule out everything in your calendar. So if you have to write copy for a specific campaign, block out time in your calendar. If you got to train somebody, block out time in your calendar. Have everything blocked out and try not to deviate from the schedule unless you have to. I think the worst thing that you can do for productivity is just like jump around between a bunch of tasks. I've definitely been guilty of that too, just because I have so much going on. But yeah, another tip is to don't spend more time than you have to inside of ad accounts or watching the stats. Like especially if you have a junior media buyer under you that's like doing those things. Don't just spend all day like watching the numbers in the ad account and stuff like that, because that can just be a huge time suck. And if you've got somebody else doing that for you, then you don't need to be doing that. Um, another tip is just to get enough sleep. So getting 8 hours of sleep every night is huge. Again, you don't want to just be running on fumes every day. And also take like a full day off a week at least to rest. I tend to take the weekends off. I mean, I've been at this affiliate stuff for like 9 years, and trust me, it's not hard to burn out if you're just like working every single day. So take a full day off at least. I take the whole weekend off, and it's important to do that to let yourself reset and especially if you're a senior media buyer and your job comes down to like creative thinking, like writing copy and brainstorming different angles for different offers and campaigns. You just can't be operating from like a place of burnout, or like it's just not really going to work out. So take off some time on the weekend, get outside every day and get some sun, get some of that midday sun on your skin, get some vitamin D, and do something active every day, even if it's just a walk. I tend to work out like 5 days a week. On the 2 days a week that I don't work out, I'll just go for a walk or go surfing or um, something like that. So also avoid like pointless meetings. So don't, just put a bunch of like random meetings and stuff on your calendar. You want to avoid as much of that as possible. So, a lot of the meetings in the business are more like on the client side of the business, for like landing new clients or managing existing client relationships. And you know what? I've got a team of people that does that. So I avoid getting in all the meetings, and maybe they're not pointless, but I have other people do the meetings, and I free up my time for like creative thinking and the more higher level stuff that really like produces revenue, like writing winning copy that's going to crack a campaign or something like that. And then of course, like you want to take advantage of any downtime that you have during the workday. So yeah, if you're a super affiliate and you get this structure right and you got a junior media buyer, you might find that you got some extra time during the day. I mean, maybe you go from doing things nonstop all day to only, having to work like 2 hours a day on your campaigns because now you got a junior media buyer that's doing, 90% of the work that you used to do, minus like the higher level things like the copywriting and this and that. So take advantage of that downtime. There's always something that you can be doing. There's always another campaign that you could be working on. There's always more ad copy that you could write. There's always another angle that you could brainstorm or come up with, or another hire that you could train and expand your business more. So take advantage of any downtime that you have during the workday, and definitely stay off social media. So I don't really spend any time on like Facebook or Instagram, but sometimes I'm guilty of like being on Twitter. So yeah, I mean that can be a huge time suck. Like you want to avoid social media during the workday. If you want to, after work, if you want to catch up on social media, if that's something you like to do, whatever, that's fine. But do that outside of the work hours. There's always something that you can be doing to take your business to the next level during the day. So anyways, we covered a lot here, guys. So we're going to move into some Q&A now. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. So this could be sort of anything affiliate related. You can feel free to ask in the chat. So somebody asked, what's the best traffic source for pay-per-call? I mean, I think that just in general, the best traffic sources are the ad platforms with the biggest audiences. So right now, that's I think Google is the biggest audience, and then Facebook. We do a lot more on Facebook than we do Google. Google is kind of newer to us, like as far as this year, but I think Facebook and Google are the best traffic sources for pay-per-call. And then maybe something like TikTok would be in third place. So somebody asks, do you buy user-generated content videos and actors? So I think that's great to do. Right now, we're not buying videos from actors, although that's something that I might start doing in the near future. Right now, we're primarily using like stock footage or just like attention-grabbing clips that we find on YouTube, and then writing our own scripts and putting captions over the videos and focusing more on like the copywriting and the attention-grabbing clips. And we've been able to have like a lot of high-converting campaigns just from that style. Have you ever tested solar on YouTube? So that's actually on my list to start testing. So I'm testing out a handful of verticals right now, and I've got a list about a mile long of different campaigns that I want to try on YouTube, and solar is definitely on that list. So we've done well with solar on Facebook and TikTok, and I'm sure it can do well on YouTube as well. And I've seen people running it there as well. So let's see, if you have any more questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Looks like the amount of questions is pretty light today, so I think we'll go ahead and wrap up here soon. anyways, that's all I've got here for today, guys. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.